Guess what? Our government has got it wrong in Egypt. I mean, they've really got it wrong in Egypt. The Muslim Brotherhood is our enemy. They are vowed to destroy us. So what do we do when somebody puts the squeeze on the Brotherhood? We cut off aid to those who are defending us. Well, our allies, Saudi Arabia, the Arab Emirates, Kuwait, have said, no way, we're still going to give those Egyptians some money because they're helping to put down an evil force. But the Obama administration doesn't quite get it. And we're going to be talking about that today, and we've got an interesting thing. Plus, my dear friend Ricky Skaggs is here to talk about a new book.
That's right. We're going to have a wonderful interview with Ricky a little bit later. His book's out there. We want to tell you about it. But we were just talking about what's going on in Egypt. You know, the army has arrested the Brotherhood's spiritual leader. It's Mohammed al-Badi. Chris Mitchell has more on the deadly crisis going on in Egypt.
Badi's arrest is another blow to the Muslim Brotherhood. Egyptian police are charging Badi with incitement in June when 8 protesters died. In 2012, the Simon Wiesenthal Center chose Badi as its top anti-Semite when he recommended holy jihad against the Jews. Earlier, authorities returned the remains of 25 police officers to Cairo after an Islamic terror attack in the Sinai Peninsula. Officials said the terrorists stopped 2 buses carrying the officers, ordered them on the ground, and shot them. The attack highlighted the anarchy in the Sinai.
Indeed, we believe there are several thousand al-Qaeda combatants right now in the Sinai, and they'll be in other places as well. When you have the kind of chaos, anarchy, and carnage you're seeing right now in Egypt and in Syria, and not so great in places like Somalia, you're getting into a very dangerous situation.
In Cairo, a court ordered the release of former Egyptian President Mubarak, but it appears the former leader will remain in custody for another 2 weeks pending a judicial review. When Mubarak was in power, he warned about the Muslim Brotherhood and other Islamic groups. These groups don't ever believe they want democracy or anything like that. They are exploiting democracy in order to eliminate democracy. And if they ever do govern, it will be an ugly dictatorship. According to an Israeli newspaper, the U.S. is secretly planning to cut aid to Egypt pending a review. One former Israeli diplomat told CBN News the current regime wants to be pro-Western, but if Europe and the U.S. cut aid, Russian President Vladimir Putin will gladly offer aid to the Arab world's most influential nation. He can't understand the support the U.S. and Europe are giving the Muslim Brotherhood, which he says has declared war on the West. An Israeli official told CBN News it believes Europe and the U.S. should continue to support the military-backed government, since the military is the only hope to prevent further chaos in Egypt and restore stability. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, with us now for more on the crisis in Egypt is CBN News contributor Raymond Ibrahim. And Raymond, once again, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Could you tell me why the Obama administration thinks you can reason with the Muslim Brotherhood? They need to sit down and have a conference. What do you think?
Well, happy to be with you again, Pat. I'll just let you know what Egyptians are saying. I'll relay to you what is being said by the Egyptian media, the Egyptian military, the Egyptian street. And it's basically that Obama, when he's doing this, it's not because he's naive, but rather because Obama is in bed with the Muslim Brotherhood, that they have any number of undercover deals and connections that they have made a long time ago, and that was part of the whole bargain, and that's why Obama and the United States government are very much cozy with the Muslim Brotherhood, to the point that they're now threatening Egypt, and with the military aid, they're threatening the entire region's stability, because that aid, of course, goes beyond just helping Egypt. And so it's just to the point now that everyone's convinced this is a conspiracy. Obama's and you can't help but wonder, of course it is, because why is the Obama administration so adamant about helping this organization? Just recently they said they might actually disband the Muslim Brotherhood because of its terrorist activities, including burning up to 80 churches in the last 2 weeks. And the United States said, its spokesman just recently said yesterday, that that would be a bad idea.
Raymond, You understood that there are torture camps in the desert that are run by the Brotherhood. Could you expand on that some, please?
Sure. The Brotherhood, it's just amazing because as I read and watch the Arabic media, and then I turn, and I've told you this before, and I look at the Western mainstream media, it's like I'm looking at two separate events that have nothing to do with each other. But for example, those camps and the sit-ins that the military broke up. In the Western mainstream media, they were portrayed in as literally sit-ins where Muslim Brotherhood supporters were holding vigils. But as a lot of Egyptian media and reporters and investigators showed with a lot of evidence and pictures and videos, people in there were being attacked, were being killed. Sharia law was being enforced. One man had his finger chopped off because they accused him of stealing. Women were sexually being harassed and abused and told that they have to offer their sexual services to the Muslim Brotherhood as part of a jihad, and there was a fatwa for that. And up to one account says up to 80 people have been massacred, and they've hidden their bodies under the ground. And sure enough, the military, since it's been in there, has been uncovering these bodies, all these people who were trying to escape and leave there. And of course, so there you go. I mean, this is what the Muslim Brotherhood is. This is what these Islamist organizations do. And here you have the Obama administration defending them and the media portraying them as the innocent victims of a vicious military.
You feel that they may have been behind, or the Brotherhood may have been behind those Benghazi attacks. What do you think?
Well, again, you know, there's so much evidence, Pat, that comes out. I'll just give you the most recent one. The Egyptian embassy or the consulate in Benghazi was just attacked. Why? It was attacked for the same reason that churches in Egypt are being attacked, military and governmental businesses are being attacked, because the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt is angry and you know, attacking in retribution. So why in Libya? Because in Libya you have a Muslim Brotherhood wing there, and all sorts of evidence came out even from the beginning of Benghazi when the attack happened in September 11. 2012. There's a video that shows people running towards the building saying, don't fire, don't fire. Dr. Morsi sent us. We're with you. Dr. Morsi, of course, would be the Muslim Brotherhood leader, the president. And all sorts of other evidence that have emerged that people have been pointing together. And it all suggests, and this, of course, explains why the Obama administration wanted to pin this on a movie, a YouTube movie, because they didn't want any of this to come up. And now the Egyptian military is threatening, and the government, that, you know, the reason that the U.S. is trying so hard to release the Brotherhood is because they know that once they're tried, all of these dirty little secrets are going to come out into the open, and all these scandals will be out in the open.
One last question. You say the Brotherhood has kidnapped women and used them for sex. Is that what's the story?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a fatwa or an Islamic decree that says, you know, if there's a jihadi, a man waging jihad, and so according to the Brotherhood, they're all jihadis because when they fight against the Egyptian government, they are fighting on behalf of empowering Islam and Sharia law. So when they were in those camps, those quote-unquote sit-ins, and the young men there were getting sexually frustrated because they didn't have their wives or anything, they tried to push this fatwa written by or issued by the Supreme Guide, Muhammad Badia of the Muslim Brotherhood, basically saying that the women there are obligated to have sexual intercourse with the men, and that is not a sin because they are in their own way helping the jihad.
Raymond, thank you so much. We appreciate that insight. His book, by the way, called Crucified Again, you really need to read it. It's still available where books are sold. Raymond Ibrahim, now a contributor to us. He is from Egypt. He speaks fluent Arabic. He is a student of the not only the Quran, but the history of Islamic persecution throughout the Middle East. And I think what he says is very persuasive. Now, remember what he was saying is that's what the Egyptian street is saying. That's what the Egyptian press is saying about our president. He isn't saying that that's what he believes, and we don't know that to be a fact. But it's shocking to think that Obama may have made a deal with the Muslim Brotherhood. And if that's the case, I mean, it is appalling, simply appalling. But ladies and gentlemen, this stuff's going to come out, and we've got a president, you wonder about where he's coming from. But it's clearly the administration, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, have come down on the side of some kind of reasonable accommodation with the Brotherhood. Well, you know, if you have a cobra, you don't reason with the cobra. The cobra is going to attack and bite you. That's his nature. And that's who these Brotherhood people are. They are dedicated fanatics with one goal: to establish an Islamic superstate, the caliphate, throughout the Middle East, and to undermine Western countries. That's what they want to do. That's why it's so imperative that the United States join with others in that region who understand the deal and defend that military. What are they going to do? They have a riot going on. How do you control it? Well, you have to use some force, and they're using force, and it may not seem pleasant to people, but nevertheless, something's got to be done to quell the rioting. And they're taking some kind of measures. I don't know what else to do, but sitting down and talking with people like that is nonsense. Well, it sounds like something out of a movie. An Army Chief of Staff indicted in the murder of the leader of his own country. But it's true. Lee Webb has that story from the CBN newsroom. Here's Lee.
That's right, Pat. The former president of Pakistan has been charged in connection with the assassination of Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. Pervez Musharraf was also the former chief of staff of the Pakistani army, and prosecutors have said that he did not do enough to protect Bhutto. She was killed 6 years ago during a gun and bomb attack. One of Musharraf's attorneys says there is nothing solid in the case against him. The Obama administration wants to allow police to search your cell phone records without a warrant. The Washington Post reports the White House wants the U.S. Supreme Court to rule that the searches are constitutional. The government says police already have the power to go through items a suspect is carrying, like notebooks or calendars. But smartphones, of course, contain a great deal of personal information, including emails, text messages, and photographs. Interest rates are going up and the stock market going down. Investors have been waiting to see how stocks would react when the Federal Reserve eases off its moves to help the economy by keeping rates low. Now some longer-term rates are hitting their highest level in 2 years. Analysts are split on what effect higher rates will have on stocks. Some say they will hurt the stock market. Others expect a correction, though, in the next few months, but they do predict that stocks will recover and move to new highs. Pat, do you agree?
I agree that stocks follow money, and wherever the money is, stocks will follow. And the Fed has been gushing money into the economy the last couple of years, therefore the stock market has been going up. It has nothing to do with the fundamentals. It should have something to do with the fundamental, but this rally I don't think is based on fundamentals. So it'll go back to the fundamentals. And I've been speaking out over and over and over again. Look for stocks that pay good dividends and have the earning ability, continue to earn and continue to pay the dividends. So regardless of what the market does, up or down, you'll get your dividends and you'll get a check and the stocks will be beneficial. But if they don't pay anything and they go down, then you're in the hole. And that's just tough luck for you.
New Jersey has become the second state to ban conversion therapy. Therapists use it to try to help kids get rid of unwanted attraction to people of the same sex. Governor Chris Christie signed the bill into law. Christie, a practicing Catholic, says he believes people are born gay and that homosexuality is not a sin. Liberty Counsel, a Christian legal group, is filing suit to block the law, just like it did when California banned the practice. Its founder, Matt Staver, says the bill violates the First Amendment rights of counselors and their clients. New mosques are popping up across the country. Virginia Beach, Virginia is now poised for its first mosque. The City Planning Commission has voted for the Crescent Community Center project to go forward in a rural part of the city. In neighboring Maryland, the government of Turkey is building a $100 million mega mosque. Turkish American Culture and Civilization Center will cover 15 acres in the town of Lanham. Earlier this year, Turkey's Islamist prime minister attended the groundbreaking ceremony. Meanwhile, the Clarion Project reports about 1,200 mosques are now operating in the U.S. Nearly 80% were built within the last 12 years. The report also claims the majority of those mosques are led by Wahhabi clerics from the same branch of Islam that Osama bin Laden followed. Well, you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbnnews.com.